I'm an SSS-tier Omega. Let me put it this way. I could take down 10 alphas single-handedly. My pheromones alone could knock out an entire crowd. But my fiancé, Vic, seems to only like sweet, delicate Omegas. So I play the fragile damsel, clinging to him daily, calling him Hubby, begging for kisses, hugs, and needing to be coaxed to sleep. To stick by him constantly, I enrolled in an all-alpha military academy. On orientation day, during placement exams, I overheard some trash-talking losers badmouthing Vic. I immediately ripped apart a mech with my bare hands and pummeled the loudmouth until he was a bruised mess crawling on the floor. Spotting Vic approaching from the corner of my eye, I instantly collapsed dramatically, whimpering, "Hubby, they bullied me," while batting my eyelashes. Carry me. The stench hit me first. Couldn't these alphas control their pheromones? The reek of fermented cabbage and rotting fish made my temples throb. "Restrain your scents," a proctor barked. "There's an Omega among the freshmen." My nose got relief, but my ears suffered instead. They actually admitted an Omega this year? Huh. Free entertainment delivery. If I get my hands on that Omega. The rest came from toxic challenger beside me. I gave him a sidelong glacial stare. He turned, sneering. "What are you staring at? Twig? I'm 6 feet 1 inch with sculpted limbs, peak Omega genetics meticulously crafted to tempt Vic." This insult, unforgivable. But I bit my lip, playing the delicate flower. "Did you hear? General Stone's teaching us." Someone gushed. Toxic challenger snorted. "Your idol's a coward." The entire 1st Regiment died except him, their commanding officer. He survived by stepping over corpses. Disgrace. The slap echoed. Every head swiveled as toxic challenger roared. "You dare hit me?" He lunged, but my fist buried itself in his gut, dropping him wheezing. My glare promised death. Filth like him didn't deserve to utter Vic's name. He activated his mech gauntlet. I sprinted forward, fingers digging into his shoulder armor, and ripped the entire exoskeleton off with a metallic scream. Flesh tore. Blood pattered on the floor as rotting fish stench intensified. Oops. Got carried away. Halt. The proctor finally intervened, useless when Vic's honor was attacked. Suddenly vigilant now. I reached behind my neck. "Omega pheromone release is a felony." He shrieked, covering his face. The room froze. Alphas no uncontrolled ruts turned battlefields into graveyards. I tore off my scent suppressant patch. My pheromone tsunami slammed through the arena. Alphas collapsed like dominoes, foaming mouths. Unconscious. Who wants hormonal chaos? Poison's cleaner. Snatching a mech shard, I flicked it at the surveillance camera. The lens exploded into glittering dust. The alarm in the examination hall began wailing like a wounded beast. Footsteps echoed outside before the door hissed open, revealing Vic entering with his adjutant. My body reacted before my brain could process. I stumbled forward, teetering towards the floor only to be caught in a warm, sandalwood-scented embrace, clutching the crisp lapels of Vic's military uniform. I let a single tear trace my cheek. They were bullying me. I whispered, my voice trembling with practiced vulnerability. Pressing closer, I inhaled deeply only to grimace internally. The stubborn man reeked of suppressants. How typical of that disciplined old soldier to armor himself against temptation. I fought the urge to rip open his collar and sink my teeth into that tantalizing gland. As the Empire's sole SSS-ranked Omega, I'd carefully cultivated my persona fragile flower. Sickly constitution. Defective reproductive system. Every calculated weakness served my purpose, escaping royal matrimony while drawing my true target closer. Our first meeting 5 years ago flashed through my mind. Abandoned on a mining colony Zeta 9 by parents obsessed with character building. I'd fought since childhood in underground mech pits. The day I presented as Omega changed everything. Emerging bloodied from my 37th consecutive victory, I've been ambushed by traffickers. Their rancid alpha pheromones choked me as calloused hands tore my combat suit. Then gunfire rang out. Vic's arrival had been divine intervention, that strong arms lifting me from filth. Deep voice promising safety. He'd reunited me with the affluent Johnson dynasty, who'd suddenly remembered their long-lost heir. Their gilded cage became my training ground, where I perfected the art of playing broken songbird while building secret alliances. The strategic mugging that left my gland partially damaged. The hospitalization that made me unsuitable for royalty, but perfect for becoming Vic's fiancé. All part of the design. No. Trembling artfully in the medbay's antiseptic glare, I clung to Vic's sleeve with tear-glazed eyes. It hurts, I whimpered, knowing exactly how the light caught my stained lashes. Years of mirror practice perfected this wounded dove expression. Vic's jaw tightened as he brushed sweat-damp hair from my forehead. Where does it hurt? The concern in his gravelly voice sent shivers down my spine. This game of cat and mouse, I intended to win. I buried my face deeper into the pillow and whimpered. My gland hurts, he paused before murmuring. Let me check. Lifting my collar with his fingers. The dry warmth of his touch made me shiver uncontrollably, my hands clutching his uniform sleeve until the fabric wrinkled. Due to my previous injury, I developed allergies to common suppressants. Even my pheromone blockers had to be custom, made by the Stone family. Hubby, it hurts so bad, I sniffled pathetically. Tears spilled down my cheeks as I gasped. Could you share just a little pheromones? Please? His dark eyes studied me as the air thickened with alpha essence. SSS-tier pheromones existed beyond scent classification. But I felt my glands submerged in liquid comfort. Every cell screamed for more of that addictive warmth. More of the primal satisfaction that made my blood sing. Yet I only tightened my grip on his sleeve. General Stone. I brought the first exam hall footage. The coughing fit seized me violently. I curled around Victor's hand, wheezing like a suffocating fish. His pheromones surged protectively as he supported me, rubbing circles on my back. Water, can. I'll get some. Stay still. I nodded obediently, my expression shifting to ice the moment the door closed. The courier flinched under my glare, clutching the surveillance drive. His earlier hero worship when seeing Victor still lingered in his widened pupils. You saw it, I stated. That trash insulted General Stone. No. Everyone knows he's the Empire's hero. As his fiancé, I merely disciplined someone slandering our war hero. Lightly. I tilted my head. Wouldn't you agree? He swallowed hard. Why, yes. After such disrespect, even proctors turned blind eyes. Wouldn't this surveillance only hurt him further? My fingers tapped the drive meaningfully. He practically fled after stammering agreements. Vincent was right. Victor preferred sweet. Docile Omegas. Couldn't risk my mask slipping over some camera footage. Victor returned with water, glancing at the door but prioritizing my care. Better now. All thanks to you. Hubby. His ears flushed pink despite his stern tone. Evan. At school. Address me properly as General or Professor. Yes. Professor Hubby. The twitch in his jaw betrayed him. So the stoic war hero liked pet names. Interesting. I wondered how he'd react hearing Professor Hubby gasp between bedsheets. The thought of unraveling his control made my pulse quicken. What happened during the exam? I shook my head weakly. Just sudden shouting, too many alphas, couldn't breathe. Someone said they'd make me die happy. His grip on the cup tightened. Don't dwell on it. Rest. Clutching his hand like a lifeline, I drifted off wrapped in his pheromones. When I woke, Victor sat nearby, reviewing military reports. He immediately turned when I stirred. Hungry. Nodding. I pouted. Hubby, take me out? Of course. He never refused me. Vincent insisted his brother adored me. Yet anxiety gnawed at me. This version of me he cherished was carefully constructed. and Victor himself felt like mist slipping through my fingers. Still, I'd keep advancing our relationship step by calculated step. After entering class, I often accidentally brushed against Victor in sunset-lit hallways, clutching his sleeve with teary eyes. "Professor Hubby, my gland, could you?" My invented condition required perfect timing, a controlled pheromone jab to induce paleness, trembling, and sweat. Early attempts left me dizzy, but practice made flawless. The cure involved absorbing Victor's essence through touch, embrace, or kiss. However this played out, I always won. But this supposedly abstinent older man's idea of comfort was limited to hugs, his clothes always reeking of suppressants. Every damn time, I wanted to rip that coat right off him. In the deserted classroom where I pressed against his chest, driven to desperation, I'd instinctively tilt my face up seeking his lips. He'd always turn away, Adam's apple bobbing. I couldn't tell if he truly cared. Yet I reveled in these stolen moments, secretive, thrilling. A month later, Toxic Challenger got discharged and joined Class A, though he'd scurry away whenever our paths crossed. Obsessed with my after-school pain games with Vic, I barely registered anyone else. Who knew that bastard still wanted payback? Pathetic. The challenge letter arrived on the worst afternoon. Vic had urgent business off campus. No chance to steal whiffs of that intoxicating pheromone today. But at least I got punching bags. In the alley behind Imperial Military Academy, dozens of alphas surrounded me, one Omega. Their leering grunts made my skin crawl. "Evan, fight fair without your venomous pheromones." My cold gaze swept over them, each towering over 6 feet 4 inches, radiating military discipline despite civilian clothes. Toxic's family had pull, recruiting spec ops lackeys. Fists came like sledgehammers. Blood splattered my uniform, the metallic tang electrifying my nerves. Crimson-eyed and trembling with exhilaration, I thought, this isn't a brawl. This is symphony. When the last operative crumpled, I cracked my knuckles, flicking blood droplets off my hands. Pathetic. Can't even take down one Omega. Then I saw him. Vic stood at the alley mouth, watching. My brain short-circuited. Instinct said play damsel. Collapsed theatrically. But how? The pavement ran red with their blood, their moans echoing. My victims looked far more pitiable. So I ran, scaled the nearest wall like a spooked cat. God damn it. Of all people to witness this, curled under blankets. I skipped classes, mind blank except for replaying Vic's silhouette. That night's memory taunted me, too dark to see his expression when I'd first kissed his jawline. My fingers danced over the holoscreen. Vince's chat blinked first. What if I lied to Vic? His reply made me snort. Just kiss him better. Since when did Vince think his brother cared? The man wouldn't even grant me proper kisses. That boring. Emotionally constipated. Yet my chest ached thinking he might hate me now. The heat cycle reminder pinged mockingly. I planned to trick Vic into marking me this time. Now, might lose both bond and engagement. Not waiting to be dumped. I typed then deleted endless apologies before sending. Let's end this. Petty? Absolutely. Furious at myself. Pretty face. Killer body. Yet couldn't seduce one clueless alpha. Grabbing black hoodie and cap, I went for Omega suppressants. Normal doses barely worked. Bought 10 vials. Passing Vic's townhouse, I hesitated, then scaled his garden wall. Stealing his coat's fare after how he teased me. I muttered, landing in roses. A glowing optic lens greeted me. Young master injured? Why not use the door? Vic's AI butler. Buddy. Ignoring it, I beelined to his bedroom. The walk-in closet smelled like him, bergamot and gunmetal. I buried my face in his trench coat, the pheromone, rich fabric disappearing into my bag. Just compensation. I told the empty room, ignoring how the scent made my knees weak. Xiao chased after me relentlessly. What would young master like for dinner? I'll prepare it. I ignored the robot, clutching the clothes tighter as I vaulted over the wall. It scratched its metallic head before returning to the living room. Heat cycles are brutal for every Omega, myself included. My skin burned unnaturally, the swollen gland at my nape pulsing like overripe fruit. Panting heavily, I buried my face in the borrowed jacket, desperately inhaling the fading traces of alpha pheromones. It wasn't enough. The craving for Vic's scent overwhelmed me, reducing my hands to trembling wrecks. I couldn't even grip the suppressants properly. Abandoning all dignity, I popped the caps off 3 vials and downed the bitter liquid, grimacing at the acrid taste. Wrapping myself in Vic's oversized trench coat provided minimal comfort. The fabric carried mere whispers of his cedarwood essence. Each ragged breath made the fire in my veins burn brighter. The door crashed open. Through heat-hazed vision, I glimpsed a broad-shouldered silhouette. Hallucination. Wishful thinking. Yet when strong arms lifted me, the authentic alpha musk made me whimper. My tears soaked Vic's collar as he cradled me against his chest. Don't cry, Evan. His thumb brushed my cheekbone, igniting fresh tremors. I fumbled for his lips, needing connection. But his palm blocked the desperate kiss. The sharp pain at my neck came suddenly, his teeth piercing the inflamed gland. Temporary mark. Sanctuary. I woke in the Stone family's private medical wing. Vince leaned against the monitoring equipment. Lab coat immaculate. Looking for my brother? The young doctor smirked. He's consulting the specialists. Care to explain why you chugged enough suppressants to tranquilize a bull? Sis? Survived. Didn't I? My fingers probed the bandage mating gland. Barely. Vince tossed his tablet onto the bedside tray. Emergency gastric lavage tends to curb future stupidity. My stomach clenched at stomach pumping. Childhood memories of vomiting blood after a boxing match resurfaced, while rising in my throat. Enough. Vic's baritone cut through my nausea. He entered carrying diagnostic reports. The scent of rain-soaked pine momentarily soothing my frayed nerves. Dear. Stone was exaggerating. Vince rolled his eyes. Whatever you say. Big bro. Wouldn't want your fiancé thinking you care. The heart monitor betrayed my spike in anxiety. I focused on the forward drip rather than meet Vic's gaze. About yesterday's emergency protocol. Necessary intervention. My voice cracked. No implications. We'll void the engagement. You don't have to, Evan. Vic's knuckles whitened on the medical chart. The temporary bond changes nothing. The cardiac monitor's rhythmic beeping filled the silence. I swallowed around the lump in my throat. We should remain brothers in arms. Like before. Vince's snort echoed down the hallway as he exited. Vic studied me with unreadable intensity before finally nodding. As you wish. He placed the discharge papers in the nightstand, fingers brushing mine briefly. Rest. We'll discuss the Black Marsh mission details after your fever breaks. The door clicked shut. I pressed Vic's abandoned jacket to my face, inhaling the fading pheromones until my ribs ached. Monitor lights blurred into starry constellations above the antiseptic sheets. That was Evan's graduation trip. The Johnson dynasty was known for producing geniuses, and 20-year-old Evan had already graduated from Imperial Medical College, wanting to unwind. The Stone family lived in a different district, but when Vince somehow provoked a group of troublemakers, I arrived amidst flying fists. To avoid tarnishing Vic's impression of me and prevent royal marriage alliances, I shielded Vince with my body. My lips twisted into a bitter smile. He'd never loved me. Even if I deceived him, he wouldn't hate me all because I'd saved Vince. No affection. No resentment. How utterly defeating. I sighed internally. Vic suddenly pressed his palm against my forehead. Standing abruptly, he declared, Fever's gone. I'll handle your discharge paperwork. His deep voice rumbled. Don't skip classes. Since you got into the academy, take it seriously. I stared at his retreating back, murmuring, okay. School wasn't terrible. At least I could watch Vic. His mere presence was mesmerizing, even when idle. Mecha mechanics bored me stiff, but Vic would demonstrate using his silver-gray war machine named Darkstar. The undefeated champion emerged amidst deafening cheers, its metallic sheen making my pulse race. I wasn't immune to the collective frenzy. My attraction to Vic wasn't just gratitude for saving me. His gentle maturity and overwhelming strength, the kind our empire relied on for survival, made my competitive spirit burn. After our breakup, lacking excuses to linger near him, every glimpse left me itching for contact. The toxic challenger got expelled after that incident. Classmates avoided me like plague carriers, except one persistent mint-scented alpha. Daily heart-shaped meals appeared on my desk. He materialized during team drills. His blatant favoritism, so obvious even Vic noticed. Strange, Vic normally ignored student romances. Yet his gaze kept drifting our way during simulations. Did that mean? That evening in the stairwell, I accidentally collided with Vic's chest. The pink envelope slipped from my fingers, landing at his polished boots. What's this? He picked it up, brow furrowing, blushing furiously. I snatched back the love letter. Students should focus on studies, he warned. I batted my lashes. But I'm legal now. Mister, don't. 3 steps down. Thundering footsteps approached. Steel arms banded around my waist, crushing me against his racing heartbeat. I hid my smirk in his uniform. Vic steadied me, voice gravelly. You're young. An Omega shouldn't dash. I kissed him. His sharp inhale echoed as hands gripped my hips. The stairwell spun when he deepened the kiss, tilting my head for better access. We broke apart, panting. My legs jelly. Kissing me means commitment. I gasped, eyes shining. No regrets? Instead of answering, he pressed reverent lips to my forehead. My trembling hands clutched his jacket. A predator voluntarily caught in its prey's trap. This madness wouldn't escape me twice. Dating my instructor proved thrilling. After class, I'd corner Vic in his office, only for him to grip my nape mid-kiss. Someone might see. Clear coast. I'd murmur before he devoured me whole. We left evidence of our passion across campus, the track field, rooftop, even his precious Darkstar's cockpit. His jealousy surprised me. Mere conversation with another alpha left my scent gland brutally marked, his essence branding me inside out. I secretly texted Vince, "Is your brother impotent?" He laughed. "Ask him yourself." That night found me pinned beneath Vic's trembling frame. "I've been gentle considering your age," he growled, calloused palm scraping my sensitive gland. "Yet you question my capability?" His teeth sank deep as Darkstar's engines roared outside, our moans drowned by mechanical thunder. "You tell me. How do you want me to nurture you?" That night, I became the storm-battered blossom. Vic turned out to be surprisingly conflicted, fixated on our 14-year age gap between my 18 and his 32. He claimed even kissing me felt like taking advantage, let alone marking or bonding. What kind of antique relic had I stumbled upon? If I ever called a mole to his face, his heart might have shattered. When the imperial royal family demanded Vic's return to battle, he refused, citing our recent marriage. They retaliated by kidnapping me as leverage. Vic reluctantly complied, but the royals repeated their treachery, cutting off energy supplies and communications during his critical strike against the Zerg swarm. This time differed from the previous massacre where only he survived. Meticulous planning allowed his entire unit to safely crash land on the wasteland planet. The royals had targeted elite warriors from influential families, unwittingly pushing powerful clans toward rebellion. With coordinated efforts between noble houses and the Stones, assassinating a prince became child's play. I drugged the royal heir with neurotoxin-laced pheromones before driving a blade through his heart. The same monarchy had nearly killed Vince years prior. Now Vic injected madness serum into the king's scent gland as poetic justice. When I led the retrieval team to the crash site, Vic crushed me in a desperate embrace, his feverish kiss burning through my usual shamelessness until even I flushed under dozens of watching eyes. The perpetually gloomy skies of that junk-strewn world couldn't dim the radiance he carried within. Their decisive victory crippled the Zerg for a decade, buying time for internal power struggles. 3 years later, my toddler son became the deranged king's adopted heir, smoothly ascending the throne. I drafted sweeping reforms for Omega rights, criminalizing forced heat inductions, banning public pheromone misuse, and opening Imperial Academy's elite programs to all genders based on merit. Divorce became accessible with affordable scent mark removal procedures. As prosperity bloomed, Vic and I finally retired from statecraft to enjoy foolish newlywed games, though my teasing always backfired spectacularly between sheets. Never provoke a seasoned warrior unless you fancy bed rest. Victor's perspective, my fragile fiancé resembled an anxious rabbit whenever he blinked those crimson eyes, demanding pheromone comforts. The Johnson dynasty's audacity astounded me, parading their underage heir as my bride-to-be despite his delicate health. Yet Evan's determination to enroll as the first Omega in Special Forces Academy hinted at steel beneath softness. Those were my darkest days after losing entire squads to royal sabotage. Evan became my soul light, though his scent fluctuations from saving Vince's life tortured me. How could someone so young exhibit such reckless courage? When tracking his distress signal led me to that alley, I anticipated rescuing a victim, not finding my helpless bunny surrounded by groaning alphas. His fleeing leap over the 8-foot wall ignited dangerous realizations. My heartbeat hasn't steadied since. He lied to me, but he had no reason to. So why did he? The only explanation was that he liked me, so much that he suppressed his true nature just to keep me happy. Just as I was basking in that thought, his message lit up my phone. We need to break up. My heart plummeted. The humiliation of misreading the situation stung, and I wondered if he'd just been toying with me all along. Slumping back to my office, my assistant sent me a video the little bunny had bolted with my coat. Stealing clothes? Totally on brand for him. Finally, I had an excuse to confront him. But when I shoved the door open, nothing could have prepared me for what I saw. There he was, wrapped in my trench coat, cheeks flushed and eyes glazed with tears. My breath hitched, pulse thundering so hard I thought my ribs might crack. Even if this was just a game to him, I play along. But when he woke up, he called me Vic and insisted we stay brothers. Vic sounded nothing like Hubby, but I respected his choice. Lost for words, I told him to focus on his studies. Then came the gut punch. He seemed to be dating someone. My chest tightened like a fist was crushing it. Every moment agony. That night, all I wanted was to hide him away. Keep that vulnerable look from myself. When he stumbled into my arms, a love letter fluttering to the floor. He mumbled about being legal now. Jealousy roared through me. I chased him, yanking him back against me. He still felt soft, fragile, like my bunny. Every cell screamed to claim him, but I held back, lecturing instead until he kissed me. Fireworks detonated in my skull. This time, I won't let go. First come, first served. I was here first. So he's mine. No one touches what's mine.